Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk FGO for October 18th, 2019, coming at you fast and tall. I'm one of your hosts. I am the Robot Skeleton Omega, and with me as always is Point Man.
Everyone, I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Overlapping Legends and Worlds. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EA version of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should go climb to the highest points in the castle.
Yeah, I expect a lot of climbing jokes and references. Because, beautifully timed, perfectly, they gave me a perfect asset for the thumbnail that you clicked on. Just today, FGO USA teased that, I wrote down the full name, that Halloween Strike Demonic Climb Himeji Castle War is coming soon-ish. And we'll get into predictions on that after we run through some other intro stuff. But yeah, we're here. We're still doing the cold open, so I should tell you that this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Aga Comics, Quan, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Den, Nestor Flores, Sodasan0424, and BigGamer75. And that if you like what we do, you should consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it will really help us out. And we thank all our patrons for their support.
Thank you.
It's just like watching PBS, brought to you by viewers like you. And if we ever had real sponsors, we could tuck the ad read in there. But yes, the cold open seems to work. We got slightly better viewer retention on last episode. People did immediately dive bomb out. So that's good. Viewer retention is good because YouTube loves watch time. Mm-hmm. Also, here's another fun YouTube fact I learned from a experienced YouTube channel. YouTube also loves controversy. So downvotes don't do anything to your video. They just make it so YouTube is like, ooh, people are spicy about this video. Let's show some people to see if they stay spicy. Excuse you also. Yeah, hey, feel free to leave your feedback in any form. It only helps us. Though obviously, you can understand from an audience, like, if you post a video and you get, like, 90% dislikes, then you realize, oh, you've made some people angry. But, you know, like a 50-50 ratio, that's great. Mm. Alright, so we did intro. We have padded out enough time that we can swear.
Fuck yeah.
I think we're a little loud, but editing will normalize all that down. So, let's check in with everybody's favorite Kohai.
Senpai! 起きてください.
That's right, everybody, it's time for Wake the Fuck Up... Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular segment for pro tips. This is a life tip. Remember that Epic of Remnants are permanent. Just because the banners go away, they stay. So you can take them at your own pace, like me. But also remember there will be extra Saint Courts in it for Epic of Remnant clears in your future, so, you know, it's not the kind of thing where you suddenly want to be rushing to try and do it because you're like, oh shit, I need that 10 Saint Courts. But also, you have some time if you're busy. I know there are some people who haven't even started at all, actually, because they're busy with stuff. This is a, late October into November is a busy season for people still in schooling peoples. So, I know that some people haven't started at all, like I said. Me, I have started, but earlier this week I was drastically slowed down by rushing to finish the Grafspy event in Azure Lane, which we will talk about more on WhatsApp. But why don't we bounce over to Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic?
Alright, well, that's gonna be my cue to take over. So, interestingly enough, with my new computer and phone, I was actually able to stream my roles on Discord's native system. I could probably set it up for actual YouTube streaming if I want. It'd probably get better quality. As we've said, Discord has a bit of issues, I want to say, when it comes to their screen resolution. But I did some roles on air, and unfortunately, people have finally got to witness how amazing my CE luck is. People are actually very like, why do you get so many CEs? I'm like, this is just how I do. But
I think it was, did you get 2 with 1 strikes in 1 roll, or... Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I got like 2...
you pulled a K-scope on stream?
Yeah, I pulled like 2 500-year obsessions, Awakened Will, like, a bunch of stuff.
And only 1 Mapo Tofu.
1 Mapo Tofu. The very last one I did rolling live was I decided to spend, like, I had like 18 quartz left over, and I was like, alright, I'll just do a bunch of fucking singles. Very last one, Lucky is now the owner of NP2 Shuten. So that is, I was pleased about that, but unfortunately, as Lucky is wont to do, I got the fucking itch. And I was all like, no, I must go to my proper catalyst time. For those of you who do not know, my proper catalyst time is for me to roll while I'm in bed between like midnight and 3.
When your mana is at its peak.
And I usually, and roll then, and I usually have better luck, and it's true. So I basically blew the money I was saving for the Outer Worlds, which, may or may not bite me at the end of the month. Or may not. As I said, Death Stranding is like early November. I might just go for that. But
yeah, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of games coming out in quick succession. I'm still not done with BL3, and other stuff is happening. But we'll see what stuff.
Yeah, but I bought another 80-pack, and I think I think it was like 90 quartz. I was able to pull MP2 Raiko, as well as a Sitting Man Mutamori, and a Ninja Mom Kato Danzo.
And we'll tell you how to use those new servants later.
Booyah.
I have nothing. I'm saving for a rush. I have almost 150 quartz again. And I'm not done with Shimosa, and there's a Halloween event coming up, and then we got another story. It's great.
Ooh, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Okie dokie. So, I guess we'll move into Skelograms. Let's see. These are pretty short, so we can probably just blitz through them. So, we did a news desk on this, but rather unexpectedly, there was a pop of Fate Extra Last Encore Blu-ray release event in NA. It's going to be a mishmash of a couple of Lost Encore events, because there was, one login event for when they announced Lost Encore was going to come out, because that's how old FGO is. In fact, Last Encore probably wouldn't been a thing if not for FGO printing money. So yeah, that's where one of the CEs come from, and then another one I think was when it actually started airing. So the Blu-ray actually comes out the 24th, which is when this campaign ends. It's going from the 16th to the 24th. There's a commemorative quest for a commemorative CE. Log in for 8 days to get 7 Saint Quartz, a ticket, 1 piece of each class, and a real CE. That's right, it's not just plus 50 Mystic Code EXP.
Huh.
And also you get double FP and half AP rank an interlude on Lost Encore servants. Gawain, Nero, Robin, Lee, Drake, and Rhyme. The quest was incredibly easy. I beat it in 2 turns with my 3-turn clear team.
Yeah.
And, hey, also, Shimosa Banner 2 happened, just as predicted, starting 10-16, going until 10-28. As predicted, the raid-up was Raiko, Shuten, Munenori, Kato Danzo, and Fumako Taro. Sasuke Kojiro did in fact get his animation update, and we hit our social media campaign, so we got a bunch of extra stuff. Shuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 Saint Quartz and stuff. And like I said earlier, they have begun teasing Halloween Strike, Demonic Climb, Himeji Castle War, with an ominous silhouette of Mecha Liz. So, let's see. What even are we at? We're less than 10 minutes. Let's just power on in. Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff we can talk about, so we'll just fire on in. So, because they've announced it, and I would like to officially put forward that my prediction is that it will be the 24th or 25th, depending on where that exactly ends, because that's when the Last Encore Blu-ray release ends, and that is exactly 2 weeks after Shimosa started, and a week before Halloween. Just saying. So, I'm going to scroll through my months, not through my document. Time for the Halloween 2019 pregame, kids. That's right, we're firing off with a fresh pregame right away.
Booyah.
So, Halloween 2019, aka all that stuff I said earlier, it's a mission event. So, if this is your first time doing a mission event, basically you get a big mission list. You complete the stuff in the missions to get the rewards and unlock more missions and more quests and stuff. Completing missions will progress the story. It will reward you with MP, QP, a Grail. So yeah, after you complete the final story quest, you can get a Grail in missions. 3 summon tickets, as well as some various CE copies, skill gems, and a lot of different mats. I started to list them. There's a lot. There's 100 missions. There's a lot of fucking mats. Like, there's seeds, babies, stingers, feathers, pages, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of crap in there. Additionally, this is also how you get extra NP levels and Ascension mats for Mecha Ellie. We'll talk about her a little bit later. But that's where the good stuff is. It's in the mission clears. Also, unlike usual, this requires an Orleans clear, not just Fuyuki, so if you're running any alt accounts or you are really, really new, watch out. It requires a little bit extra effort than normal. I'm not sure why, maybe because Carmilla's in it. Also, it's got bonus servants. This filter should probably be appearing soon, but yeah. As is typical, all the new servants, Osakabehime or both Mecha Ellies, get 100% attack. All the following servants get 50% attack. All forms of Liz. All forms of Tama. Both Kiyos. Carmilla, Cleopatra, Yan King, Wuzetan, and Penth. So there you have it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little sad that Musashi isn't in this.
No, but she just had a thing, so.
Yeah, I know it, but that's what I mean. It's like, goddamn.
Well, technically she will be in it because there's an adorable Musashi bean plush in some of the assets, so there's kind of a Musashi in there. But yeah, so those are your primary things. Hey, guess what? If you're a big Tama fan, or if you've been playing for a long time like me and have all these fucking free Lizzes, you're going to be pretty set for class coverage. There are 15 story quests. You will get 13 Saint Courts from this, a free CE, etc. Expect to see a lot of Yan King, Liz/Mecha Liz, Wu, Penth, and Carmilla, and a little bit of Hime on your story support. So you get to, take some test runs. Story quests will be time-locked slightly for a delay on them and on challenge quests and stuff, so I think it's like, after 3 days, the second half of story quests unlock, then after like 3 or 4 more days, the challenge quest and some extra battles unlock, all the highest level shit. I put the challenge quest ahead of enemy strength, but I'll read it out the way I wrote it. The challenge quest is going to be Moriarty and 101 mass-produced Mecha Ellies of various classes. He will buff the Mecha Ellies as you clear his bars. You only have to defeat him to win, so you'll want to bring high damage to clear him up fast, or make sure to keep wiping out Mecha Ellies. And of course, like most challenge quests, this requires you to have beaten Solomon to undertake it. Because it's super fucking hard. But if you do it, you get a crystallized lore. So there are 2 lores in the event, I believe, because there's one in the mission list and then one in the CQ.
Alright, cool.
So enemy strength otherwise shouldn't be too difficult to handle, especially with bonus damage. Everybody knows, once you get your plus 100% or you even some plus 50% damages, you're fine. Expect to fight several of the characters who are in the bonus servant list, because that's how that works. And watch out for a lot of fucking assassins. There's a lot of assassins, okay? But the final boss of the story will be a ruler, so prepare accordingly. And yes, break bars are still a thing. Otherwise, they don't have a lot of gimmicks and stuff. It's just, some break bars, some classes. You're going to have to fight a lot of assassins. And after you clear all main quests, you will get your Mecha Ellie selection quest, which gives you your first redemption item to pick between Mark 1 and Mark 2. So the stats and skills are the same, but they have different art, voice lines, sprites, and descriptions, and different images for their Bond CE, so you pick what you want. Now, luckily, because of the way this is structured, next year, when this gets rerun, you can pick the other one, and they are completely separate. But for now, you're limited to one, so pick the one you prefer.
Yeah.
They are slightly different. I believe it's Mark 1 is the pink one, and Mark 2 is the gray one.
Yep.
Because Mark 1 is your story support. And yes, just from skimming this stuff, I expect a lot of Godzilla references and a lot of Eva references, what with mass-produced Mecha Ellies being one of your enemy types. This is when Halloween gets weird, kids. The first one was what you'd expect. It was actually like a spooky Halloween theme.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one was still spooky, but they added this kind of fun retro games feel to it. But stuff like Super Ghouls and Goblins and Old Castlevania, those are Halloween enough, right?
Yeah.
Now we're just there's giant fucking robots and stuff. There's a lot of sci-fi themes in this one, so we'll see how that writing shakes out. It's gonna be fun. So free quests are also unlocked by missions. You'll farm them for more missions and event currency. Using currencies such as beam cookies, missile candy, and gummy drills, you'll be able to buy the usual EXPs, foes, MP, QP, as well as Saber Archer, Lancer, Assassin statues, and some mats, which... Let me just get up my notepad here. Yes, you will be looking at chains, horns, horseshoes, lanterns, spirit roots, lanugos, divine wine, claws, and those precious new magatamas. Thank God they did that right away, if you need some.
Oh, yeah.
You will also get 2 copies of each of the event CEs in the store. The other 3 are in the mission list. Huzzah! You don't have to farm them. They're in the mission list, all 5.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yee. So store/mission CEs will increase enemy spawns, pretty typical for a mission-type event. The banner CEs will increase currency drops. And yes, this is the year of the infamous trick-or-treatment, Our Lord and Savior Redrop returns. Or technically Lord and Saviors, because Redrop is a team. I don't know, whatever. Whatevs, they exist, and Trick or Treatment is the SSRCE. So the banner should be Osakabehime SSR, who will become permanent after this is over, and there'll be a rolling SR rate up on Liz, Carmilla, Yang King, Whoop, and Penth, plus the new CEs. God, there's a lot of fucking SRs in this event.
Yeah, it's a rotate. Yeah,
it rotates. Thank God, because I don't know. I really want Osakabehime, and I want those CEs, so I don't know if I'll be patient, but I'd really prefer somebody new, like Wu or Penth, to another Liz, Carmilla, or Yang King. I think my Liz is already NP3. But also, hey, another fun bonus. It's going to be half AP rank ups and interludes for Liz, Kyo, Carmilla, Tamamo, and Kat. Thumbs up. Because I guess we've decided, because of the way things shake out, that Tamamo is staying Halloween themed. Because she was on that Halloween banner that one time.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Osakabehime. And Carmilla should get her animation update, which will be sick.
Yeah, it was a real... I remember when it first came out, it was real...
Yeah, we were doing the show when this happened, because it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are still a lot of servants who can really use it, who can really use an upgrade from nondescript beam blasts.
Yes. Carmilla got her caster balls fixed, but not everybody. Now, if you're... By the way, so the CEs, I'll throw in this extra tip, since we've, powered through this in like 10 minutes. The event... The store CEs, in this case, are categorized like... They have the 3 rarities, so there's a rare, there's an SR and SSR. The rare is Nostalgic Form, that's pretty basic, but it's got, like, Super Robot Babbage on it, so that's cool. The SR is Golden Wings, which features Ozzy and Arash in, like, a Galactic Heroes type setup.
I'm pretty sure it is a direct reference to Legend of Galactic Heroes.
I think it is. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That one will increase your NP strength by 20 to 25% and your NP gain by 5 to 10%, so that's actually useful. That has a purpose. And then the SSR is Aerial Drive, aka Mecha Martha, which is a great one. And this is one of those classic event CEs for FGO. It's increase your Buster card by up to 10%, increase your NP strength by up to 10%, and start the battle with 50% NP gauge. Everybody loves those. And yes, it's got the Mecha Martha, which is a very, very popular CE.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's really the pregame. Nothing much to talk about. It's pretty simple. Honestly, I think for a lot of these seasonal events, they try to... Other than, like, Oniland, because they decided to staple Sutanai to it, other than Oniland requiring you to clear Lost Belt 2, most of these seasonal type events are pretty easy to get into.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, that said, Oniland should end the 25th? Or technically the 24th our time. Now, there was a stream, but I think that got pushed back to the 26th, so I don't know when the new one will drop, but I know JPFGO pretty good, so I'm gonna guess it's gonna be... Well, I don't know, they got Kawasumi and Kana Ueda at the panel, so we'll see, but they're probably gonna be like, oh, look, a panel! Hey, it's the event! Boom! Mic drop! Go! Smoke bomb! The mic was a smoke bomb. Because Japan really loves to do that, where they're just like, oh no, what could it be? Oh look, it's this! Maintenance is now! No lead up. So whatever happens there will be super interesting, but we don't know about that yet. I'm sure we'll be talking about that next time. Yeah, should be. Maybe, because next show will be the 25th for us, so I don't know if that panel will have happened yet or not. Time zones.
Time zones.
Also,
I'm
not sure. Audience, fill me in on this. I could have sworn I saw somewhere, but I don't follow, like, like JP News Twitter, but I could have sworn I saw a recent tweet from JP that regular Shuten got her NP animation refreshed. Not like a full update, but like slight detail improvement, so now she has like dynamic backgrounds and stuff. Could somebody run that down for me? I haven't heard anybody else talk about it.
Yeah, I've heard it mentioned, but I haven't seen anything.
Like I said, I saw a tweet once. I think it's because I was in our studio Twitter, and Raita retweeted it because of course he did. And then it was like, I don't know, I lost it.
Let me see here. FGO project. That's the JP one. Oniland, stream, collab. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I do see it.
Okay. All right, and it's recent. Yeah, so that's cool.
Let me see. I can't read moon runes, but let me...
If you click on a tweet, there should be a translate tweet button.
Yeah, let's see here. Oh, wait, no, let's see here. That's for the pickup. Yeah, they are talking about a lot of SEO projects. Let me see here.
There would be a little video with it, But yeah, not sure. Don't know.
Yeah, it looks like they just added, like, a little background detail. Like, instead of, like, it just staying black, like, you now get a bit of a blue, like, a little bit of a... They just, they
added a backdrop card, basically.
Yeah, they added, like, some...
And he freaked out? Did he die? Oh no, too spooky. But anyway, alright, we've been spookled, but now we're back.
Sorry, Lucky got spirited away.
But yeah, okay, that seems like a good transition to pop into some stuff. So, because we're done with the pregame, and we've talked about any Oniland stuff.
Alright, yeah, so we can move on into our Shimosa second impressions here. Just for the record, I do want to let you know that I have completed Shimosa. It is done.
As have several people. I think I mentioned this earlier. I haven't. I'm only up to the Paraiso chapter. I was busy through a lot of the start of this week, and just... Man, there's a lot of talking in Shimosa.
There is.
It's a little slow going sometimes. I like it, but it's at the same time, it's... I don't know, it's... Like, at first I thought it was, like, rising tension. I guess it's because it's set up to be a 3-act structure for every single Swordmaster, kind of. Because there's, like, intro, middle, end. So it's like, that's cool. That gives you more interaction with all the characters on an individual basis. And I do know there's a double boss fight coming up, so I presume that one goes by a little bit faster. But still, it's a little slow going, but I'm working at it. The bosses haven't been too hard yet. But that's a perfect lead into your first point, so...
Yeah, well, first off, I want to say I want to beat it, and I like what the end card says. Like how, I can't remember what, Shinjuku's, completion card was.
Quod et demonstrandum. That has been demonstrated.
Yeah.
So, you solved the mystery.
Yeah, and in Agartha, it's, happily ever after.
Right.
In, Shimosa, the victory card is absolute victory. Which is on point, considering you go... Yep, because considering you've gone through several duels,
you had a tournament basically.
Yeah, but this is what you can say absolute victory, because the chapter really stacks the deck against you in duels, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. So, first off, we have the Epic of Remnant standard of break bars, which are standard by this point. Not really something new.
Yeah, they basically at this point they serve two purposes. One, fuck your burst damage.
Yeah.
And because even if you, for instance, I accidentally blew a seal on the first Paraiso fight because I forgot how NP worked with guts.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't the first Paraiso. It was Inferno. I was set up to finish her off with an NP BB chain from Lancer Artoria, Clutch Plays. Lancer Altar, that is. It was literally a clutch play, but I forgot how that would work, and I'm like, that's a lot of burn, I think I'm gonna die, let me spend a seal to heal fully. I didn't have to, because NP triggered Guts, and then the double BB finished it off. But, yeah, so they serve as a way to completely fuck your burst damage turn.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stop and wait for their bar to break, and then it lets them do, basically, boss phases.
Yeah, they usually get, some new effect.
They can wildly switch tactics, and even classes, based on that.
Yeah. And so that's that's annoying, but more often than not, it's not a pain. The issue from these boss battles from Shimosa comes with these next 2 points. One, back in Camelot, each one of them has basically a special attack function, which is usually procced on a normal attack, which basically means 3 times on their turn, someone is getting some sort of debuff or weird thing happening to them.
And some of these are okay, and some of these are not okay.
Yes.
To speak for instance, Inferno, she's 100 burn per hit, that's fucking nothing. Now, if she gets you with her NP, which drastically increases burn damage, you're fucked, but otherwise...
Yeah. But other ones are Assassin of Parensis is just, what was it, attack down? Was there attack down?
I think so. We listed these all out in the pregame.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I know that the real shaker is Imperial Saber, who is fuck your buffs.
Yeah.
He just strips your buffs on regular attacks.
So you're just like, okay, so now you have like, you have your like Camelot style, okay, this is fucking kind of weird, but I can do it. And then here comes the third part, is that you're forced to put Musashi in your front line. Story Musashi, who, when you start off is not full powered, it's like level, I believe, 80, NP3 with like her first 2 skills at 8, if I remember correctly.
Something like that, yeah.
And throughout the story, she gets stronger. She eventually makes it to 90, gets her 3rd skill, like MP5, all that stuff. But at the same time, never has a CE.
Which is a flaw that they do not fix until Lost Belt 4.
Yeah. Now, in FGO, where class advantage is a pretty damn important thing, forcing a Saber that you have almost like no control over the tactics in front kind of bones you over a little bit. Most of my times when I had a Musashi, I basically just waited for her. I just prayed for the fucking heroic Swordmaster to just kill her so I can move someone up for my backline and get on with the strat.
Omega, in the meantime, has decided to finally start using the plug suit. That's what I did for Archer of Inferno. I was like, okay, plug suit Musashi into the very, very last slot. And swap her with Merlin. Merlin do team charge and pop your NP for regen. Let's go.
Yeah,
because I only own Buster Lancers.
So effectively, instead of having 6 play slots, you only get 5. And I'm just like, that's a bit of a handicap there, FGO. Like, this is
it could be worse. There are some fights where you literally only have 1 slot and it's Musashi.
Like, I never actually had much of a problem with that.
Well, no, I think those fights are set up so that that's more manageable. But still, the game does have a spectrum of forced pick, which is worse.
And like, here's the thing that bugs me. It's like we haven't seen like anything like the Tiamat battles where you actually get additional buffs on your team for like story reasons, because. You gotta remember, in Babylonia, you had the blessings of was it pronounced I can't remember.
Yeah, you have blessings from the underworld, and then Mage of Flowers.
Mage of Flowers, throwing down, like, so you can offset the chaos.
The whole point is that the game is like it compares to like first you start with the earthquake, and then it's like Chaos Tide is constantly sapping your HP, but then it's like, aha, fuck you. Mages of Flowers and Blessings from the Underworld will fix all this faster than you can be destroyed, which is a great effect.
This is a great effect, and I'm kind of wondering why they haven't done something to the effect. Like they didn't have to give buffs on everyone, but if Musashi had some sort of unique buff...
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess her second skill already gives her Pierce Invincible, but like, she's carrying a very special sword, which makes all this possible, so it would have been better if they had given her, like, a permanent buff in the big deal fights, so that it was like, and here's a reason to actually use the Musashi you have to take, as opposed to, like, Lucky and I have been doing, where I'm just like, throw in the back row, or Lucky's just like, I wait for you to die.
Yeah, because, as I said.
And honestly, it's entirely possible because the Epic of Remnants are a transitional period for FGO. Mm-hmm. Like, some people have said that supposedly, Nasu was too busy to write any EORs himself. I have to say, especially because of some themes that are coming up in Shimosa, he must have definitely supervised this one, even if he didn't pen it down personally. Because it feels super Nasu, and also it's very relevant to stuff and things. Which, if you've played it, you should know, but if you haven't, I won't give it away yet, because, stuff.
Not everyone is beating it.
But so, it's kind of weird, like, I could feel that, like, this is obviously a stopgap. They're trying to shit out 4 stories in a single year, and also develop the next full story arc, which is going to take, like, 3 years, apparently, at this rate.
Yeah.
It's October, and we're still only up to Lost Belt 4 out of 7, and then probably a conclusion. But so, yes, I wonder if that isn't why some of these episodes are adventurous, but don't feel, like, feature complete, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But still.
And so, like, honestly, like, the hardest duel I had to deal with, honestly, was probably the assassin of Paradiso. Just because of her interesting effects and her ability to lock you down.
Oh boy. Yeah. And but, also, as we've noted, you're already discouraged from using non-knights.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, guess what? Casters suck at offense.
Yeah.
Now you're a lucky boy. You have alter egos and stuff you could throw at her.
Yeah.
This raises up a point. I'm not very far, but I've been listening to our fan base go through this whole thing, this whole adventure. And I've realized that Shimosa, I think, is one of the first stories that really, I don't know if punishes you is the right word, but really gates you off if you don't have certain servants and even certain CEs for yourself. So, like, longtime players like me and Lucky, we've been doing this a long time. We have all the welfare so far. You know, we can count on having all the event CEs, and we have a decent spread of, like, banner CEs and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have access to some pretty useful effects, like, there's been no K&K rerun, for instance. So, hey, if you weren't playing when it first happened, you don't have Decapitating Bunny, which is a really good CE, because it's quick up plus permanent Pierce Invul, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So a lot of these fights, because you can't rely on support, you cannot pull out the tried and true your friend's Merlin trick.
Mm-hmm.
You have to either have very weird comps yourself, or do a lot of brute forcing if you don't have specific servants. Like, I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, Sanzo clears up Paraizo real easy," and I'm like, "Ooh, that's not good. I don't got one of those."
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to do some bullshitium with Kazgil and Medea.
Yeah.
Because hey, guess what? Oh, the free single target caster doesn't come out until next year. Literally a year from now.
Oni Cure.
Yeah. Now there'll be some other good SR casters that'll come out before then, but still, like,
yeah,
those you have to roll for.
Yes, because like we only have like three single target casters right now.
Yeah,
Ilya,
yes, there's
Sanzo, Ilya, and Medea. And Medea can put in the good work, but because
but she's super hampered because she's a 3-star and a caster. So, like, Rulebreaker is a phenomenal NP, and her ability to instantly charge herself. Like, Medea is a great free-to-play servant, but oh boy howdy,
she could definitely use a couple grails if she's your only option.
Yeah, if she's all you got. Ooh. Now, hey, if you're having trouble with Shimosa, hold on a little bit, because there's a free alter ego single target coming real soon. Now, but you do have to beat the entire event before you can get her. So,
yeah, but like looking at other things, like having a Shiki is really useful in this, particularly against the rider of
yeah, because Shiki gets her own Pierce Invul.
Yeah,
and also Shiki's just a good fucking unit.
Yeah, and BB for like one of the later boss fights really will make all the fucking difference. I swear to God. I'm trying to think of it like any other warfares I pulled out, because like honestly, a lot of warfares are just good.
Yeah, well, after a little while, they cinched welfare design. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone up against a like saber boss, or even a berserker boss with divine, and been like, hey, Nobu. Because Nobu has double trait damage and can follow it up with crits. She's a great unit. You know, Rider Kentoki, caster bosses, great unit. Single target riders, you know, and not that it matters for this, but we're going to talk about farming a little bit later when I detail some new servants, and like, there's some great farming welfares. So yeah, welfares can really make or break this game, and it is so sad that it takes us so long to get that quintessential single target caster one. But that's only one of the classes. Yeah. And like I said before, there's 7 of these fuckers.
Yeah.
Now, luckily for Big Scary Boss Man, the game already gave us the only toolkit you need. Now, CCC was a little bit hard to get those extra copies of BB, but if you were playing this year, you've got it. You've got the tool. They finally invented it.
Like, honestly, like, as I said, like, the hardest battles for me were not at the end. It was in the middle.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Like, yeah, because you're too, I'm trying to figure out how I want to, like, divide this up. Yeah, so I would say like the last 3 bosses.
Well, yeah, so there's 7 plus 2, basically.
Yeah.
So there's 9-ish boss. Well, more like 10. Because I know there's a fight with a certain somebody. But yeah, there's 7 duels, and then there's like... Well, actually, I don't even know if Limbo turns into a giant ghost, so I don't know if he's a real dueler or not. Is he? No? He's just a giant ghost?
Just a giant ghost.
Fucker. I know he's a fucker. Caster of Limbo, he a fuckboy. I can say that.
Fuckboy.
But so you've got, 7-ish real duels, but then you've got a bunch of ancillary boss fights. So, yes, there's definitely, like, you've got Hozoin and Inferno. Those are the warm-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you have single target lancers, Tomoe's not really that hard. Tammy blew off one of her bars right away. Now, she fucking blew me up with burns right after that, but I could probably have scheduled in Jean instead of Merlin and gone for endurance over damage. Because Jean will do debuff clear and team heal and Vol, but still. Like, that was pretty easy. Then you kind of get into that more ambiguous middle block where you start, Paraizo, and you've got the double team match. You have to start fighting Orochi bosses.
And you're just all like, oh god, why? But then, like, you get to the end, and you're just like, alright, as long as I have just a solid team comp, this will just take care of its fucking self.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, some of those parts are welfares that only show up once every few years, and then never again!
Until they figure that out.
Which they still haven't.
No, they're still working on it. It's still in dev. They'll do it. They're working on it, but not yet. And unfortunately, they're probably going to start with the year 1 ones, which are very crappy. Like, no offense to caster Liz, who has carried me through a lot of farming over the years, but she's not the bestest caster. Because she's kind of built for, like, crits and endurance, so she best slots into a team with other casters, which you may or may not have. Like, I suppose I could throw her in a team with, like, Rhyme and Kazgil and just be like, hey, Rhyme, crit everybody. But that's, that's like 2 other SRs scattered over there. And, Ryder's not awful for her NP, but her kid is weird. Or Santa Ryder. And then, poor Saber Lily. Poor Saber Lily. Nobu's good, at least. That's one you want. If they bring back, get your Nobus first. That is a critical counterpoint. But yeah, so Shimosa hard. Or is it?
I said, it all depends on what you bring to the fucking table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's one of those things where, on the one hand, if you have a really good servant collection, if you're a whale or you're just a longtime player like us who've been really digging into those frees or just even spending your quartz. Like, fuck, I've just gotten good units over time just through rolls. Like, Fran is a great wave clearer. I have her at NP2 just because I roll, And same with CEs, because, interestingly enough, stuff like Sure Hit and Pierce Invul are kind of rare and often on weird seasonal limited banners. Like, there's very few permanent Sure Hit or Pierce Invul CEs. Now, some of those are pretty good, like With One Strike, I think, is alright. And Origin Bullet is great, period. But it's best for putting on riders to deal with casters, because that's its other bonus effect, so that's not something that you normally just go, like, I'm gonna slap that on anybody for the effect of Pierce Invul, It's a weird thing that's niche. Though I do think part of all these enemy servants having so many evades is so that Musashi can, use her Pierce Invul skill that she has. She has a thing for this. Okay, well, we have hit up the Shimosa points. We'll probably talk in detail about some of the deep characters later, like more about Muramasa, more about Musashi overall once I can dig through some of the themes and stuff. And, I don't really know if we have to go into depths about Otama, Kyo, that kind of stuff like that. It's cool that Kotaro shows up. But yeah, then I guess we'll wait for Lucky to exist again, and then we'll do a little story time. Good. So yeah, like I said, Lucky exists, and now he's got a little story time.
Well, it's a little bit of story time. So, with Himeji coming up, I thought I would expound upon Musashi and the monster at Himeji. because we're in a very interesting time. Behind us, we have Shimosa, and ahead of us, we have battle at Castle Himeji. Now, Castle Himeji is actually pretty damn important. It's actually one of the castles still standing in Japan, and it's been noted as one of the World Heritage Sites, and so it's quite a famous place. It's changed hands a few times throughout, like the Sengoku era and the Edo period, but it has a couple legends about it. One featuring Musashi. So, at one point, Musashi was a retainer for Lord Kinoshita at Castle Himeji under the alias Matasaburo. He was given the job of, and rumors of a monster living in the upper floors frightened many of his comrades. Musashi offered to do it in their stead. At night, going up each of the upper floors, there was the sound of a loud racket and flames coming down. I'm not entirely sure on that part, but that's what I read. And Musashi would draw their swords ready to do battle, but no monster would show, and they go up to the next floor. Finally, at the top floor, still no monster, Musashi lay down to nap till dawn, at which point a beautiful princess in a 12-layer kimono appeared and revealed herself to be the guardian. She thanked Musashi for driving off the monster and gave Musashi a really beautiful sword as reward. Turns out that was a blade from the castle's treasury, and upon Musashi's return at dawn, they were imprisoned for a while until suspicions were cleared of them stealing the sword. Now, interestingly enough, there's also the legend of Osakabehime at Castle Himeji, who was a yokai that lived in the upper floors of Himeji Castle, being a recluse, hiding in the secret areas, and would only show herself once a year to the lord of the castle to give a fortune-telling for the upcoming year. There were many accounts of her appearance, though, ranging from a young and beautiful woman to an old hag, ghost of a courtesan, a snake spirit, and even accounts here of a nine-tailed fox. But one of the most common points between them all is that she wore a lovely 12-layer kimonos. Now, you put these two legends together, and you might get an interesting idea, in that there was most likely not actually a monster at the top of Himeji Castle, but instead Osakabehime just trying to keep people away, and when confronted with someone who just wouldn't leave, bribed them to leave them alone. Osakabehime is attributed to having a lot of powers, like puppetry, animal spirits, divination of that sort. So, making a little bit of ruckus, I think, is totally not outsider power. Now, considering I haven't got actually into the Himeji event and I haven't read anything about it, I'm not 100% how FGO spins this tale, but it's fun to know regardless.
Yes, you will be probably hearing references to some of these things, or seeing them in Hime's makeup, because she's going to be a permanent assassin.
Yep. So,
like Jack, the second one ever.
Mm-hmm. So,
assassins.
Yeah, because I was real curious about the legend after it was mentioned in the event, and I did actually get the trial quest done finally. So, yeah, I guess that's another interesting point. Well, actually, no, I have to actually wait on that until Omega finishes, because that is a future story point.
Yeah, we'll probably do a whole big final thoughts, Shimosa, after I'm done with it next week, and also that'll give everybody plenty of time for anybody who's going to do it anytime soon to have done it. So,
yeah.
We'll do one more big Shimosa blowout, which hopefully you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know plenty of people in the comments have talked about it, but alright. That was the return of Storytime.
Ta-da.
We're still only like 45 minutes in, but that's okay. We got more to talk about. Yeah. Fun fact, the Himeji event is super simple. It's pretty easy. Hey, do missions, get stuff. It's not like, say, when I did Shimosa, I had to explain all these fucking bosses and all of their gimmicks. Which is honestly a thing we've been doing since, I want to say, Camelot. Because that's when, like you say, boss gimmicks really took off. But, okay, well, then let's move into So You Didn't Get That 5-star, Shimosa Showdown Squared Edition. Because now we have 2 Shimosas. Or 2 banners, anyway. 2 banners. Alright, so let's talk about some story locks. First up, Munenori Yagyu is our new Master of Sitting. He's a SR Saber. He has a pretty high attack for his range, but very low HP. I believe he is the second lowest gold saber, which means he's the lowest because, or SR saber I should say, because Saber Lily doesn't count. She's a 3-star with a gold coat of paint. So he has the usual Saber Quick Arts Buster deck, with low arts numbers, so a fairly good NP gain, but pretty high quick hits. He has a 4-hit quick, and he has Riding, so he can generate stars on his own. So AAQ is a good chain for you. He has a pretty basic NP. It's a single target arts, which slaps the enemy with attack down for 3 turns. So his kit really brings this together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, first skill, he has a 1-turn arts mana burst, so 30 to 50%, which also increases his arts star weight, so his arts cards will gather stars better, which is pretty high. He's already a saber, so they have very good star weight, and then this tips him over a lot of stuff like riders and archers. And it also gives him 1 turn of 100% debuff resist. His second skill is a 1-turn evade and a 10 to 20% attack up. And then his final skill slaps a single enemy with 30 to 50% attack down. That's pretty huge, 50% attack down for 1 turn. And himself the same amount in NP gain for 1 turn. Passive, magic resistance C, and riding B. So I will say this. While he's not a living chainsaw like Saber Lancelot, for instance, Munenori has simplicity on his side. He can land a very powerful burst turn and will not likely fear retaliation. He's got 2 offensive debuffs, or 2 offensive buffs, and then he has a targetable attack down, and then another attack down on his NP, and then he's got evade and debuff resist. So he gets a turn where he will kill a guy, and if that doesn't work, he's probably okay on the flip side. And then, hopefully, with the right setup, if this turn is an NPAA, you can set up to do it again. And so you will get another NP and you can spam. The attack down and arts focus pairs well with stall teams, but the short duration of his skills means he'll probably underperform without support. Like, I wouldn't think of him as a solo servant. I'm sure there are some fun Yagyu solos, but he only has the 1 evade. That's his longer cooldown at 6 turns, and all of his durations are 1 turn. So you have 1 really good burst turn, and then usually if you get some art crits, he can fire his NP off again, but after that, he's pretty done until his skills cycle back up. Like, he is just a guy who will do normal attack cards. His attack is decent, so pair him with some support, you'll do okay, but you will probably find yourself without additional buffs going like, wow, man, okay, after that first hit, he doesn't slap as hard. You know? And then we have Kato Danzo, our new SR assassin. She has the deck you'd like on an assassin. Quick Arts Buster. Her hit counts and NP gen are decent, with her HP attack being roughly median among assassins, so pretty average. And speaking of simplicity, there's some lovely simplicity to these character designs here. So her NP is an AoE buster, which does extra damage to demonic enemies, so it's great for farming. Her first skill is a 3-turn red-green buff, which caps out at 30%, so 30% on her quick and buster cards for 3 turns. Her second skill is ninjutsu, which is a targetable evade and star gen buff, and then her third skill is mechanical illusion for a targetable invincible and star gen buff. That's right, she has 2 targetable hard defenses, which also gives star gen buffs. So that's pretty solid. Her only passive is presence concealment A, which means since she's an assassin and she already has very high star gen, she generates stars like nuts. Probably not Jack level, because while her hit counts are okay, she still has only the 2 quick cards, but still. Basically, in the end, Danzo is as dual purpose as her deck. On the one hand, she can do star gen for you. She's got 2 quick cards and a very good quick modifier. Her buster cards have okay numbers, so they can generate stars too. She can either do this on her own, or by buffing allies while giving them those hard defenses we talked about. And on the other hand, she has an AoE NP with a steroid and with trait damage, which can compensate for low assassin damage to clear waves. Works both as support or as a damage focus. So basically, here's a thought experiment. You're going to do some farming, probably in an event. So you know that this will have demonic trait enemies in the first couple waves, and then you know there will be a boss wave, because there always is. Kato Janzo, she's perfect for this. Pop her NP, she clears the waves for farming, you get to the boss. She can, with 2 hard defenses, you can wait out until the enemy's NP turn. She can protect your other 2 party members who are probably single target boss killers, and then she takes the NP, whoops, she's gone, but she did her job.
How much is it like?
you could slap them on herself and just keep tanking it out if you have a boss who happens to be a demonic rider or berserker or something, and, keep slapping that. So, yeah, she's got a really good balance and real simplicity. I think the only thing that prevents her from standing out is she only has the 1 damage steroid, and assassins do low damage. She should generate enough stars, it's not a huge problem. It's like Jack. You're like, I don't care the fact that Jack doesn't do huge damage on her own. I'm constantly, everybody's at 100% crit, so it doesn't matter. No promises that Danzo's performance will be that good, by the way, because she doesn't have a multi-hit quick NP, but still. Very good star gen, ability to buff for more. You should be able to get a lot out of her in a couple different arenas, so she's pretty good for a story lock. And honestly, for farming, definitely a lot more focused than some other options in Assassins. Like, we've talked about this at several venues, that Summer Skahak, for instance, is a very weirdly kitted out AoE assassin. If you don't have any other AoE assassins, fine, whatever, you need something. But her kit is kind of weird for that role, with her weird healing and damage cut, and also she taunts herself. Yeah, Danzo doesn't have to worry about any of that. It's like, okay, I'm gonna buff my 2 core card types for 3 turns, and then also I'm going to take a hit, or make an ally take a hit, and then I'm gonna take another one, and then that's it.
And we done.
Yeah. So they're pretty good. Next time, Mecha Liz will probably be out, so we'll do that. Oh, that means I gotta do a Wanted Osakabehime, that's right. It's finally a new SSR. I'll have to script that and shoot it sometime in the week, because I don't know exactly when they're premiering the banner. But look forward to that one. If you want to find out about our new 5-star, because that's what we do. That's a thing that we do. When they're actually new 5-stars. I don't think we've... was the last one that I shot for summer? I think it was.
No, it was for Brynhilder.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Bryn banner came back and we hadn't started doing Wanted yet. Okay, that's right. How did that video do? I don't even know. I'm gonna guess probably not super big, because most people would know, but you don't know.
I don't know.
I don't.
There it is.
1,000 views. That's pretty good for a Wanted.
Solid.
Yeah, well, we'll see. My analytics haven't been blowing up. The people have been going back and watching Wanted Musashi or Wanted Shuten or Wanted Raiko. Not that Wanted... I don't know why. Wanted Shuten never did very good. I don't know if YouTube didn't like that one or just the audience doesn't. I know Shuten gives some people weird feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly in their pants. Heyo!
Hey!
Alright. Enough of that. So, yeah. We're pretty... windy down.
Yeah!
So, let's see. What's our mission clock? We're still under an hour. It's probably a good time to mention some stuff and then talk about Babylonia.
Yep.
So, okay. What is the Holy Church won the poll? So, for Teach Me Mega Sensei, that'll probably be next week, because we won't have any, huge structured other topics. I probably could have written it this week, but I thought at the time that this show would be longer with all the stuff I had to write. But I guess not. Huh. Funny how that works, but still. So look forward to What is the Holy Church, and more info on other stuff later. So, I guess it's time to talk about Babylonia. Episode 2.
Yeah.
Nobody has been bitching about Babylonia talk, so I guess we're okay. My warning worked. Alright.
Well, first off, I want to talk, shout out to the fucking creators of the OP and ending, because they are both fabulous. Funny enough, if you go to the Japanese Aniplex YouTube, you can find the clean versions of both of them there, and rewatch them as many times as you want.
That's probably because they're airing on, public TV in Japan.
Yeah. But real good animation in the opening, and the ending. So, as I said, we're on episode 2 of Babylonia, and it picks up pretty much exactly where it left off in 1.
Yeah, I feel like this episode, it moved pretty fast. There were a couple montages.
Yeah. Well, they start off showing the wall, and quote-unquote Enkidu being like, oh yeah, no, giving you the exposition about the wall and how it does. Much like they did in the actual game chapter.
Yeah, there are a lot of lifted dialogue. We'll talk more about that later.
Mm.
But there are a lot of direct translations of dialogue where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Though, shout out to everybody's favorite nerd Nobunaga, making Ritsuka Fujimaru sound excited, but not like a complete asshole. You do stuff. Go you. You good.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a great montage. There's an early spoiler shot of Leonidas chilling.
Being maximum muscle, bro.
Though it's still funny, the Uruk wall soldiers still look like legionnaires. At least their hats do. Which was how I believe they were portrayed with in-game sprites, but still, that's funny. Like, the citizens, when they actually get to Uruk later, spoilers, they have their own distinct looks. It's just really funny that the soldiers on the wall are Roman legionnaire themed.
It could be just because Leonidas actually is leading them. He's all like...
Yeah, but he's Greek. They should be phalanx themed then. But the game didn't have phalanx sprites. They had legionnaire sprites. So I'm pretty sure that's why it happened. But it's funny that the anime keeps that.
They're like, close enough.
Honestly, I don't know if you'd... Like, I'm sure because there's a huge promo push for this. Every time we go to Funimation, because Lucky and I, we're part of the Team Funimation now. But every time you go to their website, they're like, yo, check out Absolute Demonic Front Babylonia episode streaming here first. Every time, every place in their webpage, it's right at the top. So there's a big fucking promo push here.
Mm-hmm.
If you were not familiar with the chapter of the story in game, I don't know if you'd like this anime. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
there's a lot of details which are just powered through. Like, they established Solomon's a guy. Did they explicitly say that that's who we're going against? Kind of, I guess, but not really. It's so weird.
I think they've established that he was the one who sent the Grail back.
Yes, they do. That's right. In episode 1, not 0, they say, yo, the present exploded. Everything's on fire. We have to go back in time and fix things. And then in his briefing, Dr. Roman is like, okay, this is the final Grail. Solomon had to send it back in time himself. We're going to go there. We're going to finish this. Cool. Let's do it.
Also, well, actually, no, we can talk about this in a minute. But
also another fun thing that I noticed. This was very weird to me. Did you notice that they pronounce Enkidu's name more like Erkidu, like El-Kidu? It's weird. There's a little bit of emphasis where we would say the N sound and is printed as N.
Yeah, that's true. Like, now that I think about it, yeah. It was probably one of those things I just filtered out.
Yeah.
But now that you mention it, yeah, you're right.
It's interesting sometimes, the way the phonemes work.
Yeah. But, they show the wall, and Enkidu, or Enkidu, however, it's all like, alright, we're gonna go the long way around. We're gonna get on a boat. It's gonna be awesome. You guys are gonna love this. And then, your boy Flower Mage steps out and be all like, hey, we're lost too. Let us go with you.
This motherfucker. Yeah, I love this scene. It perfectly captures this moment in the game where it's just like, hey, aren't we going the wrong way? Don't worry, just get in my fucking boat. And then Merlin's like, a boat. Never knew. Can we join? We're cool. And then it drops the thing. He's like, oh, yes, we're going to Uruk after the time that King Gilgamesh has returned from his quest for immortality, which makes this Enkidu guy very problematic. He's not like, this is an enemy. He's like, oh, that's just a real bummer, dude. And then Mash with her unlimited folklore knowledge. I think at different points, Ritsuka busts out some knowledge too, but mostly it's Mash and her reading. And she's just like, wait a second, if it's after he went for the quest for immortality, you should be dead already. And Enkidu's just like, oh, well, I was gonna take you straight there, but I guess I'll just blow you up. And then we have a sick-ass fight scene.
Animations are amazing.
Yes, Anna's great. I'm presuming that's still Medusa, because Medusa's voice actress also does Anna's voice and does all the others. She does all the snake ladies, all the snake sisters. So I assume it's still her doing a basically young version of her own voice, but Anna's great.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately outs Merlin as a scumbag.
Yep.
But yeah, so there's a great fight scene. It flows pretty fast, but it's still good. You get to see more Mash in action. She fights with her shield a lot and gets in a lot of hand-to-hand. Ritsuka once again buffs her to take some shots. You get to see some more of Enkidu fighting. It's not just chains and laser beams, but also he can, Enkidu/Kingu can, cause the earth or trees to, leap up and spear people, which is cool. That's a cool effect.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't think is alluded to in his current animations at all. Not out of character, just that's a new little factoid. Anna gets into it. She's pretty good, considering that she is clearly she's not the full power spirit origin of Medusa, you know. But her sight's pretty sharp, and they get some stuff in. And then Enkidu captures everybody in chains, and then Merlin's like, sucks to be you.
Flowers out.
And then Enkidu's just like,
huh.
Well, I could go after them, but I don't want to leave her alone for more than a day, so I'm gonna fuck off.
Enkidu out.
Smoke bomb. Clay bomb. Then we get the great sequence in the woods, which some people have commented on this. No, this is literally Merlin's actual dialogue. He literally says that you don't need other casters anymore, and he's a candidate for Grand. He's the bestest. Yeah. That is how much of a fuckboy Merlin is. He's a little bit of a fuckboy. You know it. Everybody knows it. At different points, this is where we got our two new emotes, Da Vinci and Roman Sips, as he alternates offending the team. Despite what you might think from his deep Magimari obsession, Roman's very harsh to Merlin. And he's just like, this is impossible. What the fuck are you doing here? This is not how this works, asshole. Because, as you guys may remember, Merlin is still alive. He is stuck in Avalon in his tower. There's a great shot of it, as just, a narration card.
Mm-hmm.
And technically he can't leave, but if he's not dead, because he's immortal, he can't be summoned as a heroic spirit. That's how that works. You can't be summoned until you're said to be dead. But Merlin is like, haha, loopholes. I don't exist yet in this timeline, thus it could be said I could be dead, so I can summon myself. Boom. And everybody's just like, okay, loophole man.
And we did get what everyone was hoping for, our Merlin killer.
Yes. In lovely animation.
This
Kawasumi killing it at faux noises.
This did actually differ a little bit from the in-game, because in-game Foe actually climbs a tree and jumps. Here, Foe just launches themselves.
Just jumps off your shoulder and does a fucking spin kick.
And just leaves an actual paw print, which I found, I'm like, icing on the cake.
Also, Merlin, falls to the ground and wrestles with Foe, who is tiny, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
He yells all his dialogue. It's great. It's a great scene. It's great. It's on YouTube if you just want to watch that clip over and over again.
But
yeah. So we get a big blob of exposition as we get a montage. Which is, I'm glad that after the initial feel of the first episode, they cut down on the extraneous battles, because without checking, I'm pretty sure there would be at least one fight in here between Enkidu and getting to the gates.
Probably.
Because that seems about right. I could be wrong. Maybe there was just a all dialogue chapter, in which case it's perfectly themed. But I do like that we're moving swiftly on, and the anime does a really good part at something the game has not been good at in the past, which is actually making you feel like the characters are moving. Because obviously the way you move in game is a thing lights up and your little cursor scoots across the map to the next place. Even if that's from Chicago to California. I'm looking at you, America. But anyway, so they travel, you get a big travel montage, we eat some ancient Babylonian apples, don't even know if that's native to that region, but whatever. We talk about stuff and things. Merlin exposits. We upsell Gilgamesh a lot. Though Merlin mostly describes him as Fate fans would know him, as a huge asshole. Which is, I think, part of the point of Babylonia. The part of the point of Babylonia is to be like, oh shit, Gilgamesh is in charge. Is he going to be an asshole to us?
Well, the way I understand it, even in his caster form, Gilgamesh is still an asshole. He's just, a more level-headed asshole.
Right,
now.
he is the king first, as opposed to an asshole first.
Yeah.
Which is his archer form. So he, as seen in his scene later, when you actually bump into the throne room, he's very methodical, caring, and precise with his subjects. Once again, this dialogue all lifted directly from the game.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is what I'm enjoying. They are kind of they're making little changes here and there, but they're still going beat for beat.
Yeah, the flow is changed for the TV format, but all the important dialogue and stuff is correct and the same, which is good, because it really keeps that consistency feel. I could pop open this thing, and maybe the script translation isn't 1-to-1 because I highly doubt that Albert is running the subtitle translation for Funimation. Considering that I'm pretty sure he works with Aniplex directly in Cali or something, and Funny is in Texas. But I'm sure that, like, if Funimation was smart, they would have somebody popping the fucking game script open in the English game, and just see what or heck, Aniplex could even have sent them just the text files for the English script, and then they compare what the English dialogue and the original Japanese in-game dialogue is to the spoken dialogue, and if they're the same, I don't see why you'd change the translation.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of all being owned and, working together. You can do this kind of integration. But first we get to the city of Uruk, where
they do the gate scene, which like again going beat by beat. Like, honestly, you can say, like, while the gate, what is that fucking, isn't it like the Gate of Ishtar or something? What is it?
There is actually a Gate of Ishtar. I don't know if that's is that in Uruk? I think it is.
Yeah, it is, because it's that blue gate. Hang
yes.
on. Is it the blue gate?
Yes, it is the Ishtar Gate.
Yeah, so they show the Ishtar Gate, and
which, by the way, is currently there's a reconstruction currently in it was rebuilt using the original bricks and is currently in a museum in Berlin.
Yeah. So they show the entrance that, and they do the gate scene where the gatekeeper, like, talks to Anna and gives her cookies. I'm all like, it's kind of important for, like, Anna's character overall, and
yes, Anna needs a character arc in this, so
yeah, so it's like, yeah, and it actually gives me a lot of faith that they're gonna, like, reproduce, like, just probably about, like, everything in the series, because as we have noted, this anime is slated for 2 cores and
21 total episodes. Probably technically, like I said, 22 with episode 0. I don't know if that's because episode 0 wasn't produced this core, so. Or released this core anyway, I don't know. I don't know when they actually produced this fucking anime. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
But yeah, so then we go to Uruk, and, like, you have the big dialogue scene. This is slightly different because your dialogue is usually silent except for choices, so Ritsuka gets a lot more character building dialogue and being like, wow, it's great here, it's cool. We see lots of individual, Uruk character designs, and then Marlo's just like, let's roll up. Roll to the throne room, we have through the throne room scene. Siduri appears, thumbs up.
Yeah!
Gilgamesh is just looking at his fucking clay tablets and books, and then, as you are in game, Ritsuka's kind of intimidated. He's like, oh, but he's so busy. When do we jump in? And Merlin's like, oh, no, just, come on, let's just go. And you're just like, God damn it, Merlin. But he just busts in, and he's like, hey, sup, boss? Completely failed. Wish you could remember where you left that damn thing. Still gone. But, hey, I found these two kids in the wilderness, and they need to talk to you, and you're like, hi, we're from Chaldea, we're gonna do some stuff, and he's like, oh. And then the episode ends right as you're about to do the fight with Gilgamesh, so.
Like I said, this is like when you kind of understand, like, Gilgamesh is still an asshole. It's all like, oh, well, I already know everything I need to know, but to see if you're worthy, we're just gonna fucking fight, like, right now. I'm gonna mess up the
I know all the information I need, because Dr. Roman actually outlines this. Solomon has such great clairvoyance, he can see the past and the future. King Gilgamesh can see specifically the future. With one of his NPs, he has the ability to view the future. And Merlin has the ability of clairvoyance to see the present, because he can observe what's going on in the world from where he was. Yeah. Oh, and a very important detail of why Merlin decided to help us is he's been watching us.
He's been rooting for us this entire time.
I kind of wish they had alluded to America here, because that's the first time you see Merlin's character design. Is he appears for a second and helps you out. Like, I think that would have been good for them to be like, did we see you somewhere? But no, they just give it a pass, I guess, to make it flow better. I don't know.
I don't know. They might. Who knows? Because there's still a lot of Merlin time. Because
there is a lot.
After, like I said,
Merlin's your clutch character for the first act of the game, basically. Then he goes away until the climax.
Yeah, and like if we're gonna be sticking to the actual game script, we're gonna have a lot of faffing about happening in these next few episodes.
Yes, I expect that episode probably 3 and 4 is gonna be a lot of the Uruk faff. And
like,
then
honestly, I love the Uruk Fath. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
So
like I said, they're doing really good with their montages, so I expect we're gonna get that montage. And then we'll probably get Ishtar shows up again, and we actually figure out who she is because she's a mystery to the audience right now. The anime, the characters don't know who she are, and then I guess it is pretty important to do. Gil goes out with us to the lighthouse. I don't know. I have to like look at where the chapters go and who and what to figure out. But yeah, then we're gonna get a lot of world and character building in these next couple of episodes. Where
actually,
there'll be a lot of dialogue.
We would need the Fat about because the only reason that Gilgamesh goes with us is because he gets pissed off. That
we report what we do every day, and he gets pissed off that like you guys are having fun while he's stuck sitting in a chair. So
I wonder if he's gonna yell about the class advantage.
Don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I could see the meta jokes, but also it wouldn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like,
so like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if this anime is for people who don't play this game. So
yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem I am having right now. It's like as I said, like I've played the game, so I know what's happening.
No, this is a great adaptation. Like seeing that shot of Merlin's Tower of Avalon, I'm like, oh man, there's going to be so many really cool sequences later. Like,
and it's like
we get to see some Kets in the OP. She looking good. You know, like. There's gonna be a lot of really interesting action scenes later.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing. Like, I had to bring this point up for people. People were talking about how there's all these spoilers in the opening. I'm like, they're only spoilers if you already know what's happening.
No, I mean, this is actually a really good comparison. Because MHA launched, they have an opening. If you know what's about to happen in the manga, the opening is super spoilery, because it shows a lot of important characters. But if you don't, it's just like I heard someone literally say, talking about the first episode, they're like, I guess this horn girl is important because she's in the opening a lot. So it's like, you would just be like, I guess Blonde Rin is a thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
And also, I'm gonna be real, that's gonna unpack itself very fast the moment Ishtar actually starts traveling with us, because I'm presuming they're gonna keep some of the Ishtar sneezes and becomes Ereshkigal moments. Though I'm really hoping Eresh doesn't become a giant ghost in this. Because she has real animations in the game now, so there's no excuse for her not to just have a fucking fight scene.
That's true.
They know what she does now. She has assets. The only reason why she didn't was because they didn't realize they were making 2 Rins until, like, just before Nasu finalized, Babylonia. Like, the art designer for Ishtar came out with, like, a blonde variant that became Ereshkigal. And that, like, catalyzed Nasu to make sure that both of them had that kind of weird split timeline, and we're like, oh, you're literally the same person, duh. But they didn't obviously have enough time to program her a whole new sprite yet. So yeah, I'm hoping they do that. But yeah, there's gonna be some, like I said, really interesting, really great, especially given how their animation budget is so far. Like, it's gonna look really good, it's gonna be a great representation of the series. Like I said, I don't fucking know if anybody who's never, like, in the classic, when do you watch Fate anime thing, I don't know where you'd put this. Like, you don't put it at the front. No. This is not the first Fate thing you should watch, I'm sad to say. Like, oh man, maybe if you watched First Order, because that kind of establishes a lot of the stakes, and I think this feels like I think it was made with the intent that you've watched the First Order OVA.
Yeah.
So
you probably have to watch, like, First Order, make sure you watch episode 0.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you definitely have to watch the episode 0, because that gives you all the character dev you need for Romani and MASH that you don't have otherwise.
Yeah, but, like, this is kind of like the Apocrypha problem. It's like, it's not, like, Apocrypha really doesn't, like, fit in anywhere, but...
No, because it's, like, you could totally start with Apocrypha, but also you could totally not start with it. It's so...
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, like we talked about this when Apocrypha was airing, Mordred's character design is such a contrast to Artoria. Mm-hmm. Like, even from her intro scene, where, you know, Artoria is like, I ask of you, are you my master? You know, very, very calm and cool. And Mordred is more like, hey, yo, are you my master? It's like, it's a deliberate play that you don't get if you haven't watched A Fate Stay Night.
Mm-hmm. But
at the same time, it's so lore-wise completely disconnected, and it tells you all the rules, right? Mm-hmm. That you could totally start. So it's really weird. Babylonia is the same way, I think. It's like, it's not necessarily a good 0 point, but it's not, like, advanced either, because it's completely disconnected.
Yeah, but, like, looking back on it, like, yeah, these were voted for, these were literally voted to be...
Oh, yeah, this is totally fan service. This was the audience of FGO picked for this to be made. So I think it's fair to say it's made for them because they picked it, and in that regard, it stands very well. I just, like we said, like Funimation making such a big deal of the fact that they got it at, like, the exclusive. It's like, I don't know, this is weird. This is a little weird that we're doing, like, I feel like there's a very big publicity push for this.
Maybe it's to convince people to play FGO and find out the story so far.
Yeah, I guess you could. We're probably going to hook some people on FGO because they're going to be like, "Whoa,
what the fuck's happening?"
All right, this doesn't quite make sense. This is based on a game, right? And then they find out, oh, this is literally the seventh out of 7 chapters. Oops. Well, I'll play the game.
Because, like, honestly, I can see it, like, yeah, we're probably not going to lose any FGO players because of the anime, but I'm pretty sure we're going to gain some through it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a new vector. Mm-hmm. And it opens stuff up because, like, on the one hand, Fate totally makes sense in anime cons. There are lots of anime events, but at the same time, it also is a game first that doesn't have, like, it didn't have a direct anime adaptation until now, except for First Order OVA. So now it's like, hey, you can look at this stuff. And like we said, most of the dialogue is directly lifted from it. And most of the pacing feels about right. Like, we talked about this a lot in the first episode. It has that pitch-perfect pacing of, like, oh shit, now I gotta fight some guys. Oh shit, now I gotta fight some more guys. Oh hey, here's this other character who's come to fight all these guys again. Like, that's a chapter of FGO, kids. That's 3 pips right there. You've done. Here's your Saint Quartz. Move on. So yeah, I think it's on point, and as an adaptation for the fans, it works very well. And I guess you're right that, like, we're not going to lose any players from this, but we'll probably gain some because vanilla audiences are just going to be confused as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how much of a problem. The exposition problem is really bad only in the start, because it's like, you know, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is that? Why the fuck do we care?
Yeah, we have to establish why we're here, but once we actually get into the story, it kind of becomes more self-contained.
It's really weird, right? Like, yes, Episode 0 goes out of its way to establish Romani, Mash, Da Vinci. You know, First Order established the protagonist also pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they don't necessarily... They got that out of the way so they don't have to do it, but at the same time, even with just Episode 0, you don't have the relationship the players have with, like, Da Vinci and Romani, like, and you don't. Obviously, in the anime, they have a certain banter with each other, like how in Episode 1, Romani's like, "Okay, I'm gonna do the exposition," and then he's just like, Da Vinci just bursts in and is like, "Hi, let me do some exposition now. I'm gonna tell you about some stuff," and you're just like, "This is just how they work. How they silently interact in the dialogue with Merlin." We're just like. Romani's freaking out, and Da Vinci's just in the back, just going, sip.
The Da Vinci sip is great.
And then and then later, when Roman's like, I gotta take 5. I'm tired of this shit. She sits down and does the exposition back and forth, and then, like, Merlin's like, you clearly don't need the other caster class servants. I am the best. Roman's just back there, quietly sipping, while Da Vinci's kind of like, You know, she'd hit that man, if she could, but she's not there. So yeah, we like it, obviously. We love it a lot. It's doing a lot of really good things, but also, we watch a lot of animes, so we can be critical in a certain sense. We can look at this from not just our own selves, but in a, like, broader perspective and be like, yeah, that's a little weird. This is both a little weird. I don't know if people who haven't played this game and already read this chapter and thus know exactly what's going to happen can follow this. Because, like, on the one hand, like we said, all the expository dialogue is preserved. They tell you all the stuff they told you. But, I mean, I guess if you were a brand new player, because that happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
FGO is always, especially in Japan, FGO is always pushing up, getting you, more and more downloads. There are probably new people who are still working their way through the story, who might understand that this is a really popular chapter, but they aren't there yet. They could be, but they haven't beaten it all the way there yet. So that works, or maybe if you're, because obviously it's made for the Japanese first, it's just cool that they license it to us, because we also haven't passed this point. But for Japan, it has been, 3 years since Babylonia came out, almost?
Yeah.
Because we're in year 4 of FGO, and that was in the middle-ish of year 2. Yeah, so it's been like 3 years since Babylonia came out, and yes, obviously you can replay the story segments, but who does that, right? Like, unless you're specifically looking something up, you would not just go back and reread an entire chapter.
Lucky has done that recently, actually. I went and reread the CCC event.
No, that's fair. And CCC is probably a little bit shorter, but like
Yeah.
what you're probably expecting to do in that case is, like, if you're in Japan, you'd buy the CCC adaptation manga, which is coming out.
They do have that.
They have EORs are getting manga adaptations.
Yeah, they also have Shimosa.
Shimosa's publishing right now, I believe. There are lots of compilations of, because the manga likes to use Gudako a lot, so there's lots of compilations of, like, Musashi's expressions, Gudako's expressions, Melt's expressions, stuff like that. Also some spoilery stuff that wasn't in the original CCC event. What the fuck are you doing to me? Manga. Spoilers, Kazura Drop shows up in the CCC manga adaptation. I'm just like, what?
Why? How?
What? But alright. We're at an hour 20, so Babylonia is good, but might be confusing to new people. Luckily, you, our core audience, probably understand it too. Do you think it's good? Are you watching Babylonia right now? Let me know.
What? Final thoughts. Like, even if, like, someone gets hooked on this anime is gonna be going on for, like, about 6 months, a little less. That's plenty of time for a new player to get in and get to Babylonia.
Right, you could be going and be like, ooh, this is interesting to me. I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah, so there is time before, like, that where they can actually catch up, but as I guess that's on the incentive of the players and where they show up. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We do have a download number event in there somewhere, because Gramps has to come back. Ooh, actually, this is a really good time for Gramps to come back. Because he won't be in the anime yet, but they'll be building up to him.
Mm-hmm. We should be getting his quote-unquote first scene here, probably in the next couple episodes.
Yes, in the probably next couple episodes, we'll get his cameo as, like, an old man. Oh, fucking, they're gonna get him to do it, aren't they? They're gonna get Joji to do the voice, I bet, of the old guy.
I hope so.
That's gonna be good. Yeah, see, that's the thing. The fan service part is perfect. There's gonna be so many good scenes that are gonna be fucking voiced now and animated. Like just that little flash they showed of Garden of Avalon, I'm just like, I can't wait to see the flowers in the underworld scene. That's gonna be phenomenal. You know it. They're gonna bust out the big guns. But yeah, I think as a fan service product, it's perfect.
Yeah.
As like, hey, this is what you guys as the audience did because you supported us for 4 years and gave us all your wallets. We can make this thing that you love.
And it's like, this is the reason why people, like, shell out money, is because companies will in turn, try to give back, and this is what I kind of consider it as.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, which ones do you want to see animated? You actually, all right, we'll do it. We have the money for it, and we'll give them fucking unlimited budget works.
Yep.
Like, Cloverworks is doing real good. Oh yeah, no,
this is clearly a blank check anime. Because, at first we're like, okay, well, first episode, really, really tight fight scenes. Oh, hey, second episode, another really tight fight scene. So it's like, and then probably the third episode, Gilgamesh, there's gonna be another fucking tight fight scene. Like, they're doing really good at using the opportunity that FGO gives them to have that up and down of action exposition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the pacing's really good, and they're really doing what they need to do with action scenes, right? Like, I don't think an action scene has gone on too long or too short yet.
No.
So yeah, it's really good. Choreography's really good, animation, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Also, one last thing. The fucking soundtrack, fucking phenomenal.
Yes.
They're remixing.
They use remixes or original versions of the soundtrack. It's such perfect moments.
Yeah. Like, I can't remember the name of the theme, but the casual Chaldea theme you hear a lot, like when you're in Chaldea and talking, they did a remix at the gate with Anna.
They also played the regular version of that when Foe got Merlin, and it's just like perfect tension break, just like how the music is in the game. It's like, this is a light scene, and then it's like, oh shit, this is a serious scene. Like I said, there's a couple of themes I can't wait to hear. Like, they're gonna do something great with Tiamat/Gorgon's theme. And of course, it's hilarious. They drop a legend like Ayako Kawasumi. She just gets to make phone noises. She said her only spoken line of dialogue in the entire chapter, unless they add more, which is Die Merlin. But that also means we're going to get Aoyuki noises later. They're going to get Aoyuki in just to make law sounds. Oh, Fate is so dumb sometimes. But I bet she's not going to care. She's just going to be like, let's check. I'm out. I'm gonna go roll for me some more.
Oh my god. Again, I love how the Japanese VAs are also so into.
No, they have a really good community, and honestly, the English actors for this stuff do too. It's just we don't follow them as much because we're not as dubby. I don't think Funimation has even announced the voice cast for an inevitable dub yet.
Actually, I know they
did
have
announce they announced for Azure Lane. Maybe they'll announce when the third episode comes out here, because obviously they're not doing a simul dub.
Yeah,
they have just announced their English cast for Azure Lane, which I believe seemed pretty good. I probably won't because I also play Azure Lane the game. So, see, that's the real reason why I will probably never watch Fate stuff in English, because apart from watching the anime and stuff in Japanese, also I play the game. All the dialogue is in Japanese, so those are those characters' voices.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that's when I tried to rewatch Unlimited Blade Works in English. I was like, technically this isn't bad, but it just seems
it's just too weird, right?
Yeah,
because those characters as their voices so much now, and some of them took a while to get locked down in Japanese. Like it took them a while to really lock in Mordred and Bedivere, for instance, because they had like cameos in earlier Fate anime adaptations, like the original Fate Stay Night one. But once they did get locked in, you're like, those are the characters. That's the voices they use in the game. That's who those people are. Other than the brief switch with MASH, because her original VA had health concerns and had to get out of the business for a while, which was a shame because MASH needed new dialogue. So, but she's still Kyo and Matahari, which is great. We probably could have talked about Kyo and Shimosa more, but we didn't. But that's okay.
As I said, I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring that point up because we can bring it up next week.
Yeah, we'll do a big whole blowout. All right, but let's wrap this down. So, final thoughts. Next week, you can probably tune in for final thoughts on Shimosa. I will probably have beat it by then. It's just, I didn't have time this week. Also, I will write the Teaching Omega Sensei on What is the Holy Church. So I look forward to that exposition. I know you guys love that. In other channel news, since this is our biggest outlet, it's good to mention that in addition to videos and stuff, the normal podcasts, we're streaming again, and for this month especially, we're doing some spooky streams. Lucky has been streaming Fear, and I have finally started streaming Soma. So, look forward to those in the week. We will probably continue to do them. I expect Lucky will probably take the weekend shift with a couple of Fear streams after we record and stuff. And then sometime in the week, I'll find some time when I'm not rendering videos and scripting other stuff to play some more Soma. Because I'm having some fun with Soma. It's pretty good. We'll talk more on What's Up, I think, about that. Just, my first stream came to an abrupt end when Soma decided to crash.
Yeah, it was about at the 2 hour 20 mark. But, so, it was still a good stream.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it crashed on, a load or autosave point, right after a big dialogue drop. So, on the stream, you get all the big story exposition, and it technically concludes, it just then abruptly ends, which is weird. But I was able to, thanks to autosaves, I was able to play back to that point in 5 minutes and then save and exit. So we didn't lose any time when I stream more.
Oh, yeah.
And Lucky's been streaming Fear, having a lot of fun with that. A lot of Point Man jokes. Fizzicola. And both of those are doing pretty decent. Actually, I think on Fear number 2, we've made a quarter in ad rev. Yay.
Amazing.
Yeah, so those are out there. You can find them. We have finally narrowed it down that the problem with Code Vein was probably in the capture software.
Yep.
So, Fear has been archived, Soma's been archived, so those will all still be up on our channel if you don't watch them live. But also, that's a perfect segue into the usual YouTube outro, because hey, if you hit that bell for notifications, you'll know exactly when we start streaming. You'll get a little alert, on your phone, or on your computer. So, maybe do that. But before we get out of here, Lucky, do you have any final thoughts?
No, as I said, next week I don't know if we'll have what's coming next in Japan.
Yeah, I was about to say that'll still be a question mark. They might tease it, but I don't know because they're not doing a panel until the 26th. So by the time we record, they probably won't be out. But we probably won't push the episode because we'll have a shitload to talk about because Himeji Castle will probably have started. We'll have the whole of Shimosa to talk about, etc., etc.
Yeah. So next week we'll have full Shimosa thoughts. I'll probably have to write them down so I don't forget them later. Streaming wise, I said I have a guest over, so I don't know. I'll try to make time, but no guarantees. He's currently passed out on my bed.
That's okay. We got a whole weekend. It's only Friday.
But I'll try.
And who knows? Maybe if you don't do something later, if this episode shouldn't be too long. If it renders before midnight, I might stream some Soma.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yes. So, but other than that, yeah.
And see, the beauty of this is only our patrons will actually listen to this on the day it was recorded, so who knows what the fuck tomorrow's plans are.
Yep. Living in the now.
Alrighty, so we'll see you next week for more Let's Talk FGO. You'll know what we'll talk about. We said that already. We'll also see you later this week for What's Up. Tune into that to hear more thoughts about lots of anime stuff, video game stuff, streaming, whatever we feel like. Books, games, movies, anime, whatever comes to our minds. Alright, so, hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, give this episode a like if you liked it. Or dislike if you don't like it. That means nothing. That helps us. Do whatever. Just engage. Engage with the video.
Yes.
And of course, if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Love all your comments. Comments I feel like have been a little thinner lately. Maybe people are dodging it, the show because they're not done with Shimosa yet. But let us know your thoughts about stuff. Been getting a few general Shimosa reviews, but I feel like a little bit lesser engagement. How do you guys feel about the upcoming Halloween? That's always a good one. You know, what do you think will happen in JP Halloween? You know, you never know. It's gonna be weird. Oniland was a little bit weird, so I expect they're going to stay weird. And God help us, they've got... The panel guests are Kana Uedo and Ayako Kawasumi. That's a... If they're tied in directly to the event, that's a dangerous, dangerous event.
Will we get a welfare Areshkigal?
Well, she is spooky. That would be the moment for it. And she has been out for a couple years, because we're about to get her in NA, so... They could. That'd blow some socks off.
That would blow some socks off. Well, I mean, Ishtar has her welfare,
well, yeah.
which was tied to the summer event, so...
And honestly, I think Aresh is a good pick for them to do another welfare. She's a super popular 5-star. She's been out a couple of years. Like, her banners are going to be sketchily coming out, you know? Like, maybe there'll be a Babylonia Part 2 or a Babylonia Blu-ray release banner that could be like, and Aresh goes back, boom! Because they brought Ishtar back for the premiere. So, we'll see about stuff, but for now, you know, it's like, when's she going to come back? We don't know.
It's all hypothetics.
So yeah, that could be a thing. Alright. Well, yeah, let us know your comments. You can also join our Discord. The link's in the description. As always, our Discord is bumpin'. It's a great place to catch impromptu streams of stuff like Terraria or other things that Lucky's just doing for funs, or to just hang out and talk about stuff. You know, all kinds of things. And of course, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel so you always get our latest videos. Like Let's Talk FGO, like What's Up, like our streams, like everything. And like I said before, don't forget to hit that bell for notifications so you always know exactly when we post a new episode. And of course, like it says at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early for as little as $1 a month. You get them in audio format, downloadable for your convenience. Put them on the hard slab, no internet stuff, and little as $1 a month. That's, you know, if you just watch Let's Talk FGO, that's literally a quarter a show. Less if you watch stuff like What's Up. You can also get access to episodes early. You can get in on polls like Teacher Omega Sensei. At high enough levels, you can watch us or listen to us record the show live and get your feedback in. All kinds of fun stuff. And like I said, that really helps us out. That helps Lucky with his gacha habit. I have, in fact, bought food with Patreon money before, so you have fed me, patrons. So yeah, that's the thing. And it, you know, helps continue to grow the channel. But of course, you can always support us just by watching, staying tuned, and, you know, watching the channel, watch our videos. On the subject of streams, I know a lot of people say they listen to the podcast while they grind or play FGO. Consider throwing a stream on in the background too. You know, you'll still get your Lucky or your Omega, but also, you know, you get these big long video blocks. That can be either live or in archive, because we try to archive all of our streams. Keyword is try.
16 hours. God!
Oh well, they were popular where they lasted. I think we got seemed like we got a couple of new people, or we got at least some more people engaged in streams through that.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I'm still for streaming from my PS4, but as I said, I gotta figure out why things are not being archived.
Yeah, you have to figure out the setting on your capture software, because the in-app streaming works, it's just a little sketchy. Like I said this in the Soma stream, I can't fuck with latency at all, so I have to do low latency. I can stream 720, thank God internet, but I don't know. If I was able to dial it up all the way to the highest setting, I could, but I don't know for sure, so it's a little opaque, but it works. It archives. But yeah, so we'll keep on that, and so we'll see you, like I said, next time for whatever happens. So I hope everybody gets the candy they want. And by candy, I mean servants.
Sweet, sweet candy.